Welcome to the Just Another Homestead Podcast, episode number 1. During this episode, we will be talking about our top 5 prepping items that we concentrate on here at the homestead. We understand that your important prepping items may be a little different from ours, and that's okay. But we would love to hear your ideas, so please comment on this episode or on our Facebook page and let us know your thoughts. Item number 1, water. Everyone needs water. I've read several websites that recommend during a survival situation you should have between 1 and 4 gallons of water per person per day. That includes water for drinking and sanitation. But let's be honest, if you're a person that is prepping for a survival situation, you're not going to waste water on sanitation unless you have to. You will find other ways to keep yourself clean. Here at the homestead, we have had to spend the day without city water a few times, and let me tell you, it is not fun. And it totally opened our eyes to the fact that unless we change or come up with another way to deal with waste and hand washing, it is not feasible to waste water in flushing a toilet. Just dumping water into a toilet to make it flush can use a large portion of that 1 to 4 gallons of water. That being said, we are looking into alternatives for waste disposal and are looking into buying ourselves a composting toilet to deal with those situations. As for the hand washing, I see a lot of people with hand sanitizer that can mostly take place of washing your hands if you're comfortable with that. Item number 2, food. Here at our homestead there are 3 of us, myself, my wife, and my daughter. And let me tell you, I've read several blogs and posts and websites that tell you to buy MREs or buy bulk rice and beans and eat that for the duration of your situation. With my 4-year-old, that is not going to work. My daughter nor my wife is going to sit there and eat canned beans or MREs for weeks on end, and having a grumpy 4-year-old or a wife is not going to make your situation any better by any means. We have adopted the prepping mentality of storing what you eat. If you like to eat the Chef Boyardee canned spaghetti, then pick up an extra couple when you go to the store. Make a food journal and write in it every day for a week, and any items that your household eats or uses, make sure that it's in there. If you see that you eat a lot of an item that is shelf stable, such as the Chef Boyardee canned spaghetti, then stock up on that and store those for a while. Item number 3, shelter. You have to have some way to keep yourself out of the elements. If that means you set up something simple as a tarp or something more complicated like a mud hut, you have to protect yourself from the cold, wind, and the rain. Our idea here is to basically bug in, but if we needed to, we could go into the woods and set up a tent or a tarp shelter. We have taken steps to ensure that if we lose power, we will still have heat via kerosene heaters. While this is an important topic, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the steps you should take, as that really depends on you and what you feel is necessary. Item number 4, security. Security is something that everyone should take seriously, even during your normal everyday routines. The world is a crazy place full of crazy people who either just don't care about you and yours, or are in desperate need and want what you have. Either way, you need ways to protect you, your family, and anyone else under your care. Guns are what most people go to, but one of the best defenses is taking an offense stance on your home. In a survival situation, if your home looks like you have something that somebody is going to want, then you will become a target. Learn how to go dark, so to speak, and make it seem like you have nothing anyone would want. The bad people will move on to an easier or more appealing target. Just like I said on the topic of shelter, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this subject, as you can find tons of information and it really is up to your needs and where you live. Someone who lives in the backwoods will not need the same security plan as someone who lives downtown in a major city. Item number 5, first aid. Having a medical issue while in a survivor situation is going to be a lot riskier than normal. Make sure that you have any medicine that you need on a daily basis, that you can stockpile as much of it as you can. Of course there are issues. Your doctor is not going to give you years worth of your pain medicine, but if you take blood pressure medicine, make sure you have a few months worth stockpiled in case something should happen. If you have any allergies, you should also remember to have plenty of those medicines as well. Here on the homestead, we have several books that give us direction on common ailments such as sprains, bug bites, etc. It's always good to have that information around if you don't already know it. In closing, I would just like to remind you that this is a list of items that we find important here at the homestead. We aren't planning on going out there and shooting a deer to keep ourselves alive, but if a situation comes to that, then we will have to change plans. And that is the most important subject of any prepping plans for a survival situation, is to change as needed. Right now it's just the 3 of us, but who knows when other friends and family might need our help, and whether they just need help with a little food because their work cut their hours and they were a little short this week, or it's the end of the world and they need to take shelter with you. As a final note, I would like to thank you for listening and keep checking our Facebook page and YouTube channel for more content about our homestead.